Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Today I wanted to talk about the top prepping essentials that beginners need, that everyone needs, and these are the items that are the basics, the steps to get you prepared for an uncertain future. No one knows what's coming, but we do know prices are rising, the world seems less safe than it was, and many of us are struggling financially, so it's harder to keep food on the table. So let's go through what are the basics that anyone should want to have in their prepper pantry, their food storage stockpile, and your emergency gear, survival situation type gear. Start with canned foods. Think about open and eat entrees, foods that are a complete meal that you could just open and eat it if you needed to. Chunky soups, chicken and dumplings, pozole stew, Chef Boyardee entrees, chicken a la king, chili, beef stew. There are all kinds of different meals in a can that you can pick up. You could just open it and eat it. It would be better if you could heat it up, but even if you couldn't, you could still eat it and everything would be okay because you'd have something to eat. And it also is an inexpensive way to have meals in your pantry for any busy day. It doesn't have to be an emergency. It can just be a very busy day and you need something to eat. You can go to your pantry, grab a can of something, heat it up, and be on your way. Get a variety of canned beans, everything from baked beans, ranch-style beans, to plain cans of beans like pinto beans, black beans, great northern beans, garbanzo beans. The ones that are already flavorful could be a meal. You could stir something into them, make them bigger, better. And the ones that are plain beans, while they're not going to be as appetizing all on their own, they could be if you didn't have anything else to eat, but they're also the foundation for making bigger, better meals, more interesting meals. You can add them into all kinds of dishes that you prepare to make more interesting meals for your family for not a lot of money. Stock up on canned meat, everything from chicken to beef, pork, ham, and all the different kinds of fish that we might enjoy. You can find tuna, salmon, crab meat, oysters, sardines. Sometimes you can even find canned turkey. So look for meats that you like in sizes that fit your family, and then know that the dates on canned meat are a good guideline, but specifically for canned meats, they can go many years past the date. You need to store your food cool, dark, and dry for it to last the longest. But the longest lasting canned foods that I've encountered are canned meats. They last longer than other canned foods. Get a variety of tomato products, canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes, fire-roasted tomatoes, diced tomatoes like Rotel, and look at different kind of sauces that contain tomatoes. Pasta sauces, pizza sauces, salsas. Look at the foods that you like. These are so simple to make a variety of meals. There's so many ways you can turn canned tomatoes and jars of sauces into meals with hardly any effort and for not a lot of money. Choose a variety of canned fruits and vegetables. We need to have fruits and vegetables in our diet. It's best if you can have fresh vegetables, but they aren't going to last very long. And we can have them also in our freezer, but they also aren't going to last forever. Especially if the power goes out, then you're going to have a problem. So if you have canned foods, they're easy to keep them in your pantry. They can last for several years. You can rotate through them, add them into your meals, and have a variety of the foods that you enjoy eating. Choose the foods that you like. I like to think of grocery shopping and food stockpiling like a scavenger hunt. I'll go through the store, look everything over. If I see something that looks interesting, I'll buy one and take it home and try it. And if I like it, then I'll buy more. Don't stock up on a food you haven't ever tried before, you're not sure what to do with it, or just because it's cheap. Choose foods that you enjoy eating. If you need to store food, why wouldn't you want to go to your stockpile to find foods that you enjoy eating? That would make my day go better. How about you? Think about simple breakfast foods, a box of cereal, granola bars, energy bars, pancake mixes, shelf-stable milk. These are foods that are simple. You can start your day off with a quick meal and be on your way for whatever you need to get done in a day. Fill in with the longest lasting dried foods that you can put away as single ingredients that can last for decades. Things like rice, beans, pasta, oatmeal. Not only are these foods versatile on their own and long lasting, but you can then say, make a pot of rice, make a pot of pasta, serve some of your canned foods with it, turn some of these foods into soups and stews with some of your beans, rice, or pasta noodles. You can make all kinds of different meals if you use your imagination. But remember, the longest lasting foods are single dry ingredients. They need to be sealed in an airtight container, and then they can store away for decades. Does that mean you should just put them away forever? No, you should be storing food that you're willing to eat. Then you should be using some of this food, rotating and replacing these foods as you go. None of them are very expensive. You can do it $1 at a time, a package at a time, 1 or 2 cans at a time, and pretty soon you're going to have quite a lot of food in your emergency stockpile. Store as much water as you can, whether you're bringing it home 1 gallon at a time, or you're refilling containers yourself, or you choose to buy 3, 5, 6, or 7 gallon container. The more water you store, the better off you're going to be if the water should stop running or becomes contaminated. It's also important that you have some kind of water filter, and that's when you need to start deciding on that you're going to need to spend a little more money and do some research to see what kind of water filter are you comfortable using is going to meet the needs of your family and your situation. What if the power goes out? Are you prepared with some candles, lighters, matches, maybe some battery operated or solar lights? Do you have the batteries for them? That's something to think about. You can pick them up a little at a time, just like the food. Stock up on a few of these other essentials so that you'll have them in a power outage situation. There are so many different types of items that you can buy to provide light, but you need to be looking at the store and deciding which ones would I really like to have and how do they fit my needs, how am I going to use them, and that's when you start to make your selection, add to your stockpile. You also want to think about how are you going to cook your food in an emergency if there isn't any power. That's why it's nice to have foods that you can just tear open and eat it that don't require any kind of cooking. But if you can even just boil water, heat up some soup, it's going to make things a lot more enjoyable. So start looking over the different types of emergency stoves, figure out which kind you're comfortable using. Do your own due diligence to find one that's in your price point that you feel comfortable that you would be able to use it. And that's the type of equipment that you should want to add into your stockpile. So these are the basics that preppers should want to have on hand. You can continue to add canned and packaged foods, dry foods, long-lasting foods. Choose the foods that you enjoy eating and make your stockpile as big as you feel like you have enough and you have enough space in your home. And then let's remember also we're going to need things like soap, dishwashing detergent, maybe some paper plates. If you're not able to wash dishes, then you'll have something that you can still get that food on the table and keep yourself clean with even baby wipes. So look over the list of basics, look over what you have in your home already. And if you are going to the store and you know you need to buy one item and it's something that you use, think about picking up 2. You'll have one to use and one to store, and that will help you build your stockpile a little at a time. Do something every week the best that you can, even if it's just filling up an empty pop bottle and storing your own drinking water. That will help smooth the way for an uncertain future, and that's why I'm a prepper. Leave it in the comments. What are you doing? What items do you suggest we add in addition to these? We can learn a lot from each other, and the comments are very helpful for us in that way. I hope you'll like my video, share my video, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.